We need to see what are the forces acting on a gravity dam. I think we have already discussed in the class of the first type of force that is acting is the water pressure. So water pressure is the first kind of and the most important type of force which is acting. And let me draw the cross section of a gravity dam. So this is the cross section of a gravity dam. This is the ground level, and this is the upstream, this is the downstream. So we'll be having upstream water maybe up to this height, this much height. We'll be having downstream water up to this height. Now I need to find the pressure that is acting on this side. As I think you might have already learned it during your FM1 class, that if you have water on one side and there's a vertical plane here, so it will be exerting a horizontal pressure there. So the pressure, assuming that the height of water here is capital H and the height of water here is H dash. So water on the upstream is H and water on the downstream is H dash. So the horizontal pressure which is acting will be triangular in nature. So this will be the pressure distribution. Here the pressure is 0, here the pressure will be equal to gamma W into capital H, because here the pressure acting at the bottom point will be gamma times the H. So the pressure is here, so this will be having a triangular variation, and the total horizontal, this is the horizontal force, the total horizontal force will be acting like this. This is the total horizontal force of water, PWH. I am writing it, PW means the pressure due to water and H means horizontal, which is acting like this. This will be acting at a height of, because this is triangle, it will be acting at a height of H by 3. So you have a pressure WH, that's the horizontal water pressure on the upstream side, and also it will be acting at a height H by 3. Similarly, if you see, you have a slanting face here. You have already learned in your FM that if you have an inclined surface inside water, there will be a pressure acting. So here, this much water it will be holding. So since we are having this inclined surface, the weight of this much column of water will also be acting. So this much weight of water will also acting downwards, and that will be acting downwards. That is the pressure of water which is acting vertically down, and it will be acting at a distance of x bar. X bar is the centroid of this whole area. If I take this whole area like this, the area of the this whole part will be somewhere over, the centroid will be somewhere over here, and this distance is the x bar. So this is how you find the water pressure on the upstream side, and this vertical force comes only if you have an inclined surface here. If it is completely vertical, you only have this horizontal force. So you have horizontal force as well as vertical force. And if I write, this horizontal force will be the area of this, it will be half into basis gamma W into H into height H. So that is gamma W into H square by 2. And similarly, the vertical water pressure will be equal to weight of water above the inclined surface. The weight of water above this inclined surface, so whatever weight is having, you have to take that weight of water. That's how you found in the upstream side. And going to the downstream side also, you have downstream side will be completely inclined. So when it is inclined, you have got two kinds of forces. You have vertical forces and horizontal forces. And as you know, the horizontal force will be like this. The horizontal force will be like this, and this will be gamma W into H bar. And this horizontal force will be acting at a distance of H dash by 3, and let this total horizontal force be PW H bar, because on the downstream side I am writing it H bar. So P of water H bar, PW H bar. And at the same time you have the weight of water above this much. From here to here you have water will be in contact with this, so you need to find the area of this much portion, and that will be acting downwards. That is the water weight, vertical water weight, which is acting on the downstream, PWP, and that will be acting at a distance X dash bar. So in the upstream side and downstream side, you have got this water pressure, and I hope that's clear how the water pressure is acting. The next type of force which is acting on a dam is the uplift pressure. Uplift pressure occurs because the upstream side you have more water, in the downstream side you have less water. So water will be having a tendency to seep like this. As it is seeping from the upstream to downstream, it will be exerting a pressure in the upward direction. It is trying to lift the base up, the dam up. It's trying to lift it up. So that kind of force is called as the uplift pressure. So if I take any point here, that point will be having total height of water is h. So the pressure there will be gamma w into h. Similarly, if I take a point here, there the height of water is h dash. So the water pressure will be gamma w into h bar. So if I draw the uplift pressure diagram, it will be something like this. On the upstream side you have uplift pressure value gamma wh, and on the downstream side you have value gamma w into h bar. So this will be varying linearly like this. So this is how the uplift pressure is varying. This is how the uplift pressure varies. And if you have something called as infiltration gallery, so what happens is water will be coming into the inside the concrete, also water will be seeping, and all this water will be collected inside this infiltration gallery. This is called as an infiltration gallery. So if you have visited any dam, you might see this structure which is running through the length of the dam. This will be perpendicular to the dam. So this will be running throughout the length, this infiltration gallery. So it will be collecting water and draining water outside. So because of infiltration gallery, what happens is there will be a reduction in the uplift pressure. This is the location of your infiltration gallery. Here on the upstream it will be same gamma w into h, and the downstream also it will be same gamma w into h bar. But what happens is there will be a slight reduction. So there, see, earlier it was completely linear, but here you can see two lines. Earlier it was more or less going like this. It was going like this, a straight line. Right now there's a reduction here, and this value of uplift is given by gamma w into h bar plus 1 by 3 gamma w into h minus h bar. So this will be the uplift pressure with infiltration gallery. So if we have infiltration gallery, this is how the uplift pressure varies, and this is without infiltration gallery. See, always remember, the gravity dam needs more and more self-weight. Self-weight is acting downwards. So the uplift force is something that is opposing the weight. The weight is acting downwards. Always remember, the weight is acting downwards and the uplift force is acting upwards. We need to reduce this uplift force. So if you are not at all providing an infiltration gallery, it will be having high value for uplift force. But if you are providing an infiltration gallery, there is slight reduction in the uplift force, so it is more useful. So by providing infiltration gallery, that's an advantage, or rather it's more useful for the dam point of view. So next is the silt pressure which is acting on a dam. The water that is coming here will not be clear water. You will be having slight silt particles, soil particles will be coming along it, and the soil particles, because it's getting blocked by this dam, it will get deposited on the upstream side. Now this water along with this silt particle will be exerting a pressure. We have already seen what's the water pressure, and right now the silt will also be exerting a pressure, and let the total height of water in the upstream be h, and the height of silt particles be hs. Height of silt particles is hs. If that's the case, the pressure exerted by silt, see, as you can imagine what it will be. See, it will be also varying like this. The pressure will also be varying, because here the silt pressure is 0. Then coming down, it will be linearly increasing. The silt pressure will be linearly increasing, and that silt pressure is given by half into gamma of silt into hs square multiplied by 1 minus sine alpha by 1 plus sine alpha, phi, where phi is the angle of internal friction. Angle of internal friction. This term you might have already learned in your geotechnical class. What is this 1 minus sine alpha by 1 plus sine alpha, and what does it mean by this angle of internal friction? That I'm not going to explain anymore. The thing is that you will be having a slight silt pressure in the bottom part. The height is hs. If height is hs, this equation came from the area. This half into base into height. This base will be gamma s into hs. this base part. That is half into gamma s into hs into hs is this much, and this is the coefficient, that is 1 minus sine phi by 1 plus sine phi. So this is how you find the silt pressure. Ice pressure which is acting on the dam, and this usually happens in cold countries, and because of the expansion and contraction of ice particles at the surface of water, it will be exerting some pressure there, and that ice pressure is given by 250 kilonewton per meter square, and this occurs only on the face of the dam, because if ice is forming here, it does not have any impact here. Only on the face of the dam you will be having this ice pressure. So the ice pressure on the face of the dam is taken to be as 250 kilonewton per meter square. Similarly, if I take the wind pressure, see, if I draw a figure for the dam, and you have water up to this much height, it's not full, wind will be exerting a pressure on this exposed area. This much area is getting exposed. This much portion is water. Wind will not be going through water, but this much portion is getting exposed to wind. So that has to be resisted. So the portion which is exposed to wind will be experiencing 1 to 1.5 kilonewton per meter square of wind pressure. So that's how you calculate the wind pressure. Ice pressure will be 250 kilonewton per meter square, and the wind pressure will be 1 to 1.5 kilonewton per meter.